When Sydney police entered the home of Bruce Roberts, they were met with a gruesome sight. He had not been seen for 8 weeks, and neighbours had noticed a large build-up of mail in his letterbox. With the help of firefighters, they found his body slumped over a live bar heater, with the 60-year-old's chest and face horribly burnt. "He was an extreme hoarder," said the leading officer. "As we walked into the front door of the address, there were immediately items stacked from floor to ceiling. It was evident he never threw anything at all out. There was only a small path that existed from the front door to the kitchen, bathroom, and Robert's bedroom. The other 2 bedrooms were stacked floor to ceiling with rubbish. After removing the body of Roberts, the police left the property. But another body remained. Almost a year later, cleaners uncovered the mummified remains of Shane Snellman wrapped in a rug in one of the other bedrooms. He had likely died 15 years earlier after breaking in and being confronted by Roberts. This was disputed by his family.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't break in. He told me he knew him.
Roberts had owned many firearms and shot Snellman in the neck, likely in self-defense. Instead of reporting the body, he continued hoarding boxes and even placed air fresheners around the corpse, making a conscious effort to mask the smell of decomposition. The first documented case of hoarding begins in 1920s New York. The eccentric Collyer Brothers, Homer and Langley, inherited a 4-story brownstone when the mother died. Both their mother and father had left them all their possessions, which the brothers kept in the brownstone. Initially, they had socialised regularly and even taught Sunday school at the local church. But after Homer lost his eyesight in 1933, Langley quit his job to care for him, and the 2 began to close themselves off from the outside world. Crowds started to form outside their home as rumours of their lifestyle spread around the neighbourhood. This only fueled the brothers' fears. After their windows were smashed by teenagers, they boarded them up. More rumours spread, alluding to large sums of money and valuables hidden within the brothers' home. This led to several attempted burglaries. In response, Langley constructed booby traps and tunnels through the items and trash that filled the property. It soon became a maze of boxes, with the tunnels rigged to collapse with tripwires. The brothers lived in nests above their labyrinth of debris. Langley would only venture out the house after midnight to get food for Homer. He would often search through garbage and take food that was being thrown out from shops. Alongside caring for his brother, he worked on numerous inventions. This included a car engine adapted to generate electricity after they stopped paying their bills. While Langley was sporadically seen in public, Homer had not been seen since he had gone blind back in 1933. Langley was very protective of him and would not allow anyone to see or speak to him. When neighbours attempted to look through the windows from their home, he bought their property. The brothers were distrustful of doctors, so even when Homer's health worsened, Langley just fed him a special diet of 100 oranges a week. He claimed this was curing his blindness. After a story in the New York Times about the brothers, a reporter asked Langley why they had bundles of newspapers in their home. Langley replied, "I'm saving newspapers for Homer, so that when he regains his sight, he can catch up on the news." An anonymous tip brought police to the property in 1947, describing the smell of a dead body. The responding officer had a difficult time getting into the house, and eventually had to call in another 7 men. They began pulling out junk from a window to get a foothold within the house. And after 5 hours of digging, Homer's body was found, surrounded by boxes and newspapers that piled to the ceiling. The medical examiner said he'd been dead for about 10 hours, and the cause was starvation. Police suspected the anonymous call had been Langley, and he had fled the house before they arrived. Reports of Langley sightings resulted in a manhunt that led the police to 9 states, but after he failed to attend Homer's funeral, they began to suspect he was also dead. 2 weeks later, Langley's body was found only 3 meters from where Homer had died. His corpse had been partially eaten by rats and looked weeks older than Homer's. It seemed that Langley had been crawling through a tunnel to take food to Homer when he accidentally triggered one of his booby traps and was crushed by debris. And Homer, who is now both blind and paralysed, relied solely on Langley to survive. He would have then slowly starved to death over the following weeks.